Well, today we'll be talking about how to change the drive belt tensioner on a GMC Safari van. It's emissions time, and I was all getting ready to take it to be tested for emissions, and then the belt tensioner broke. Now on mine, this pulley, the pulley that I'm spinning right now, one of the ball bearings jumped out of it and it got cocked sideways and got stuck, and then the belt jumped off of it. So there's two options to replace it. You can either just replace this spinning part and leave the tensioner part here. The middle of it's missing because I already took it apart. But or you can replace the whole unit. Now I'm going to replace the whole unit because to replace the whole unit, you remove this bolt to take it off. To replace just the pulley, you want to just take the bolt out of the middle of that pulley to take the pulley off. But I would almost just leave it in the van, because once I took this thing off, the back of it jumped off. There's a spring-loaded mechanism in here that jumped apart, and rather than even try to figure out how to put it back together, I'm just going to replace the whole thing, because supposedly the new one is built better and it has more even spring tension, and that was the sales pitch on the AutoZone website anyway. They said it was much better, so I'm going to go with the whole new one. So to remove that, you remove this bolt, which I've already done, and take the tensioner out like that. Sorry about the neighbors. They're building a house, so I can't wait till they stop because it's going to be a couple months. Alright, let's compare old versus new. This is the old one. Like I said, when I started trying to get this off after I took it out of the van, this part jumped in half. So there's a hollow part, and then there's a big giant coil spring in there that maintains the tension. So I was trying to get this part to go back on there, and then I was thinking, well, even if I could do that, this bolt doesn't want to come out, the one that's on this pulley. You can hear, that's the horrible, awful noise my van was making when the engine was running. So I'll get rid of the horrible, awful noise. I'll make sure that I have new springiness by using this part. Now, this part, here's the part number. This came from AutoZone, so it's a Duralast automatic belt tensioner. It cost $35.99, so it's a pretty cheap part to replace. Now, if you just want to replace this part, they'll sell you just this part for about 18 bucks. So I figured just pay an extra 18 bucks and get the whole thing. It's a sealed unit. It's not going to jump apart in my hands. The mounting points are the same. I recommend you always bring the part in when you're replacing a part to make sure that the mounting points are the same. You can see it, bolt goes through here, and then this lump goes into a hole that holds it in place to maintain the tension. What is that? I've got a hungry cat. I'm trying to make a video, cat. Alright, let's go outside and put it in and see how it works. Alright, I'm also going to remove the belt. Now, the unfortunate thing about making a video about a van is it's impossible for you to see what's in the van because everything's all packed in here. It really sucks to work on, and just about anything you do on it is pretty miserable. Always busting knuckles and trying to squeeze your arm in. Changing spark plugs is a nightmare. But it's the most functional vehicle in the world, so it's all, of course, very much worth it. Because the van is so awesome. I'll have to make an awesome van video in the future. Alright, so the belt comes out. You don't have to remove anything to get the belt out or to get the new belt in. And then to know how to route the belt, mine has a sticker right here in the, it's on the power steering pump. So I'm just going to freeze frame on this. You can freeze frame on it if you don't have one in your van. So it goes, that's the tensioner. So it goes under the tensioner. I think it's the alternator around this deal. That's the crankshaft. That's the fan. That's probably the air conditioning, or this is the air conditioning. One of those is the brakes. So just like that. That's how I'm going to put the new belt in. Now, while you're in here, there's another pulley down below the alternator. You want to make sure it spins freely and it doesn't have any bad bearings in it. This one looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it alone. Alright, I've got the new belt in place. We haven't put the tensioner on yet. There's a model number if you need a model number on the belt. Alright, now I've got the belt wound around all the proper pulleys except for the alternator pulley here when I'm wiggling my finger. So I've got my torque wrench attached to the tensioner pulley. I'm going to crank with my torque wrench, raise that pulley up, creating enough space to get the belt onto the alternator pulley. Now you notice I never put my finger underneath the belt, between the belt and the alternator pulley, because that could really smash your finger. And then you just kind of gently release it with the torque wrench. And like butter, it is on there. Haha! That was pretty easy. I'm comfortable with that being a $35 job. Actually, the belt was 20 bucks too. I may or may not have needed to replace the belt, but I've got 260,000 miles on it, so I figure that's probably enough. 18 years, 260,000 miles. Alright, now you may ask yourself, hey, if I put a breaker bar on this to move the pulley out of the way, is that going to loosen this bolt up so that this pulley falls off while I'm driving? The answer is, it's a left-handed thread, so as you're grabbing it with the breaker bar and pulling it this way, it tightens it up. It doesn't loosen it up. If it were regular right-handed thread, then loosening it up would loosen up this bolt and you'd have trouble, but it's left-handed thread, so don't worry about that. Let's take a look at the old belt. You can see there's a lot of little surface cracks in it. See all those little cracks? They say if it's shiny on the back, so it's pretty tired. All those little cracks. It's a pretty sturdy belt, but you don't want to be stuck somewhere with no power brakes, no power steering, and no electricity. Alright, mission accomplished.